I am Psychic Medium Jaime.
And I'm Spiritwalker Nicole. Good morning.
We are Shades of Spirit, and we are excited to be having a talk today about getting unstuck, right? But first, I want to say to Spiritwalker Nicole, happy friendiversary.
Happy friendiversary.
So for those of you that listened to our first show with Dr. Pat, and then we talked about it in our intro show as well, the beginning of this month. We actually met at one of my workshops. It was a release and intentions workshop. And I want to say that it was, friendship at first sight, but that wasn't quite how it went down.
No, it was not.
To the point where she stopped showing up for 2 months and then she came back, right? So today actually marks the date of that workshop 2 years ago. So it was pretty funny because I said, oh, we're going to have to happy friendiversary one another and share that with you guys that it was just no coincidence that you showed up on my front door that day to do this workshop. And now look where we're at. We've created a business together and just continue evolving and growing in this. But what comes to mind is how many people, even then in that circle, felt stuck in some aspect in their life. And we've had a lot of clients lately, partially because of, COVID going on and us having to stay home and do more of that self-quarantining. And then also with, what's going on in the world, feeling stuck in a place of not knowing, who you are sometimes in that inner self.
Yeah, absolutely. It's stuck in just every way. It's like every day is the same day. So it's like this constant, like Groundhog Day, really.
It really is. So today we are still taking call-ins. This is a live call-in show weekly. So you can give us a call at 1-800-930-2819. I will memorize that number at some point in time, but I still have to look at it. But yeah, give us a call. You can also ask questions on Facebook and we will get that notification. We've got some really cool cards out today to be working with. So if you're looking for some guidance or some direction, if you're looking for even, some advice on this topic that we have through our spirit teams, please join us because we love to have you guys. We love to interact with you guys and get to know you guys. So getting unstuck, right? So day to day, we've had a lot of clients, and I know for ourselves as well, that we have been kind of stuck in a pattern. And I'll say stuck because it's not a good stuck or a bad stuck. It's a very neutral place. And when you get up in the morning, the first thing I know I do is I run to the coffee pot, almost a literal run. And it's that process for me. Now, is coffee my favorite thing to drink? Not really, but it's the actual process of doing it. And then I get my cup of coffee and then I decide, okay, well, let's make some breakfast. And then it's like if you give a mouse a cookie book and it just keeps evolving. And then you get to like the middle of the day and sometimes I'll stand there and be like, what was I going to do? Where am I at? Did I get what I wanted accomplished? And by the end of the day, sometimes I'm spinning my wheels thinking, I know I missed something because my mind isn't focused and I'm not direct in what I'm doing. And a lot of our clients are feeling that same way, but they're also feeling stuck on kind of a spiritual level as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And for me, I never know what day it is, like of the week. Like it could be Monday, it could be like Saturday. I have no idea. Like these days are just blending together.
So the first thing that came to mind when we were working with clients this past couple weeks and really seeing that pattern was a lack of connection, right? So connection, Spiritwalker Nicole, what have we been seeing throughout the week?
I think it's just that overall feeling of just not being connected to spirit, not being connected to each other, just not being connected in so many ways. We just, even though we might live with family members and stuff, it's still like, it's not, it just doesn't feel like real life. It's like this blah.
We don't want to live in blah. Come on, you guys. Now, I know a lot of us are feeling the energy right now, and we're kind of in this blah state, right? It's hot out here in California. We're also now, working through wildfires across the United States. There's more reasons for us to almost be living in some sort of fear element. And that's not cool. And that's not what our spirit team wants for us either. So being able to still feel empowered but not feel stuck. And there's different ways that we're going to approach today on how to shift your energy, even if it's just a tiny bit. The first one, you guys aren't going to like this. I know I don't like this. I don't know how many of you are control freaks. I'm a Virgo. I'm a control freak. I think there should be a self help group for Virgos because I need to be in control. I need to know what's going on every single minute of the day. I constantly have thoughts running through my mind. I get scatterbrained because of this. And so if I would just surrender and stop and allow myself to be in the moment, surrender myself over to my spirit team, open that dialogue with them and say, hey, I need you guys to keep me focused. I need to allow myself to be vulnerable, allow myself to feel, because what I'm doing by keeping myself so busy and kind of complacent in that day to day routine is that I'm not actually dealing with the crap I'm supposed to be dealing with. And that's a big one, folks, because then what happens is that we continue to go inward and then we feel stuck because we can't get back out. So I know that's how it works for me. How does that work for you of that surrendering control? Because you know what? You're not the most, vulnerable one either.
Nice face. I'm not. I don't like it. I don't even like that word. I've never liked that word. It's just, bleh. Yeah, no, I like to be in control. And I mean, a little, no, it
No.
is. Yeah, I can't, there's nothing I can say about that. Okay, just moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. But how do you start to evolve from that? How are you starting to overcome that? Because you aren't quite like you used to be. That would be
I
why she didn't show up for 2 days or 2 months to the workshop, folks, is because I could see something that other people hadn't really brought up. Or if they did, she knew them. So it was a little bit of that opening that vulnerability side. And you were like, nope, door closed. See ya.
For me, it's all about mindset and it's about changing my mind because your mind, and I know it sounds like an after school special if you guys even know what that is, but it is like the most powerful tool you have. And you can decide to change your mind about your outlook, and you can decide to change your mind about your perspective. You can decide to change your reaction to outside things that you cannot control, and because you can always control your mind. So in that respect, yes, surrender control, but you can also control everything about your reactions, your words, your thoughts. And if you shift them into a positive direction, it changes a lot of things. And I know we're going to talk a little bit in the next segment about disconnecting, but that was been really, really a big deal for me as far as what's helped. But changing my mind and choosing to not stay in that sort of blah state and not getting upset that every day sucks sometimes, and just sort of finding the joy in it and the good things that can come out of it rather than focusing so much on the negative.
Absolutely. And when we surrender, like she said, you're still in control, but we're surrendering ourselves to our higher power, our source, our spirit team, to our higher self, looking for that connection. And when we do that, we start to put ourselves into priority number one, which is taking care of us. And when we take care of us, then we can take care of others, right? But when we let ourselves get run down because we have taken on too much and we feel stuck and our energy feels stuck, we've not allowed ourselves to be the number one priority. And that is very hard for a lot of us to have to do, is to remind ourselves to be number one and to be able to allow ourselves to move forward in that progression during the day and not feel guilty about it. So when we feel stuck, that guilt starts to bring ourselves up as well. So then we're not adapting.
No, and it's all about adapting. Yeah, and people are so hard on themselves. I think so many of our clients say, "Well, I'm just being so lazy. I'm just here all the time." Okay, not that there's a choice. You have to be there all the time. So instead of looking at yourself as lazy and not getting anything accomplished, change your mind. Go, "Okay, I have to be here. What can I do?" And that's when you start doing new stuff. And some of the greatest leaders in history will tell you, when those odds are insurmountable or when those circumstances look like they couldn't be overcome, they adapt and overcome. They change their mind, they adapt, they refocus their priorities and their perspective and their thought patterns, and then they win.
That's the biggest part, is to be able to win back that control and allow yourself to move that energy out and to go with the flow. If we could surrender and just start to move with the flow and the rhythms of the universe, of the moon cycles, of the sun rising, the sun setting, if we start tapping into the basic human response of the wake and sleep cycles, just those simple little tweaks, and allowing ourselves to relax in our space and allowing ourselves to connect with our spirit team, connect with your source, your higher power, and most importantly, connect with your higher self, you're no longer going to feel like you are stuck in that space, in that rhythm. And that's so important for us to be able to move forward. It's so important for us to be able to release and admit where we're at. It's so important for you to be able to connect on a soul level and then be able to help others outward. So stay tuned after the break. We're going to come back. And like she said, we're going to talk about taking a break and what happens when we disconnect from, that feeling of being stuck and watching what evolves. So stay tuned, folks. Check us out at Shades of Spirit LLC on Facebook or Instagram. We do have an event coming up here on September 7th. It's the Sacred Circle, and that's going to go with our month topic for September, which I can't wait to discuss towards the end because it's part of our next segment. So yeah, you guys, take a break. We'll be right back, and we thank you for tuning in to Shades of Spirit. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Psychic Medium Jamie.
Spiritwalker Nicole. I forgot we were doing a radio show. Jeez, Mondays.
Oh, one way to raise your vibration and get unstuck is a good laugh from your counterpart over there. Yeah, she like totally was lost, folks, and then she came back. Were you stuck?
I got unstuck. I changed my mind and decided to speak into the microphone.
She changed her mindset here. Welcome back. We are discussing today how to get unstuck, right? Now, being stuck is not a negative thing. It just means that we're looking for some guidance and some direction. And it's about focusing that energy into ourselves as a number one priority. It's about changing that mindset and starting to go with the flow. And I know how many people out there saying, oh, yeah, that's easier than done. That's great. I'll read a book about,
Easier said than done?
yeah. What did I say?
Easier than done.
Easier than done.
No.
Easier. So I need to call in Archangel Gabriel right now and ask him to help me articulate a little bit slower and a little bit clearer and for it to make sense. Because remember, guys, there's always an angel out there that can help us. But it's allowing ourselves to really move into that energy of becoming one with our own mind, body, and spirit, and allowing ourselves to move through the day in that ebb and flow of what we're supposed to be doing, as opposed to allowing all that mind clutter to really clog what it is that we want to achieve or move forward or just feel like you got something accomplished. I know that a lot of people that we've talked to lately just feel like they have about 60 different things with loose ends on them and none of them get tied up. And so we're going to help today with trying to give you some, actually, we're not going to try. We are going to give you some ways that we've learned through Spirit and working with Spirit and our clients that has helped them become unstuck. So the first one for me is take a break.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good nap. I don't know about you guys. I don't know when you get to take one, but if you ever do, that's a great way to kind of disconnect, right? What other ways do you take a break?
I turn all the electronics off. Do not disturb, because I've noticed that I am notorious for just constantly having my phone in my hand and getting alerts from all the news agencies, and it's all the same stuff.
Yep.
And it blends together, and then the text and the emails, and it's like, dude, so you just need, for me, turning off that phone, even if it's just for like 2 hours, is glorious.
Absolutely. So allowing ourselves to disconnect. That's probably the biggest thing, honestly. And to disconnect means that it doesn't have to be for a long period of time either. Take a 20-minute I'm out, right? Now, I know for a lot of us that we have kids and families and people that rely on us. So for me to completely turn my phone off for 20 minutes, I would have to say, okay, so if there was an emergency, I'm going to need you to text this person. I'm going to need you to do that. So for me, it's about at least letting my kids know. It's about communication when it comes down to that as well. Now, there's a lot of you that are caretakers as well. And so how do you disconnect when you're, taking care of your loved one that might be home who's, going through a rough time or is ill, or those of you that are new moms? I know that a lot of you who have kids that are back in school right now, and as trying times as these are, You need to disconnect immediately after you do these sessions with your kids and help them, because what happens is that the anger starts to set in because we don't have time to get everything that we want to get done, because we have this control within ourselves. We're not allowing ourselves to surrender to the fact that not everything is going to get done in that day, and allow that to be okay. And I think it's because we have a sense of fear behind the fact that we aren't getting everything done. So what happens when I have to do it tomorrow? Or what if I let this person down? There's all of these self-doubts and self-sabotages and fear that starts to roll in when we become really centered and rooted in that feeling of being stuck within ourself. So going through that fear state.
Yeah, well, and it's not only internally, but externally as well.
Mhm.
Especially, I've noticed as closer the election gets, my social media has really ramped up on both sides of things, and just keeping or maybe promoting sort of that fear with the virus and masks and if this person wins it's going to be a disaster, but if that person wins it's even worse, and
Right.
it's all this just fear like keeping us scared, like
Yeah.
all the time. I'm scared to go outside, I'm scared to do this, I'm scared to do that, and because of the uncertainty and the chaos going on outside those doors. And so a lot of people that I talk to and stuff, they're just like, this is, it's like the upside down out here. Like we don't know what's going on.
If 2020 could be a story that ends happily, if you could hit December 31st and know that 2021 is that start of new beginnings, a fresh start, right? A lot of us have that hope, those wishes, those desires. But what if you could change it right now? What if you give yourself a few more days and on September 1st, you decide it's time for me to reconnect with me? I'm no longer going to be stuck and I am going to change my perspective of 2020. I'm going to raise that vibration and I'm going to bring as many people with me so that we can all be on that same path of healing, that same path of self love, self worth. I guarantee you, you will no longer feel stuck, because even just that thought, when you put it out into the universe, starts to shift your energy vibration and bring you up and out of the level that you're at. That's why disconnecting and taking a break is so important as well, is because you're allowing yourself to step back, right? And reconnect with what's most important, and that's you, your higher self, and your higher power. And when you do that, you connect with your spirit team, you start asking them for guidance, they start directing you, they start leading the way for you. And that's how we start to shift that energy. We have a question on here that talks about struggling with someone else's energy
Hmm.
and a problem that's affecting them to the point where they're feeling stuck from someone else.
Oh yeah, empaths.
Yeah,
Hollow.
I know. So it says, I take on other people's issues. How can I become unstuck herself? And that's coming from Layla.
Hmm.
So, Layla, thank you for writing that in, because that's a lot of us will take on other people's problems, right? And maybe it is part of our own problem, and maybe it's not. But allowing ourselves to become stuck in their mess and their energy vibration does us no favors. Also, it doesn't help them learn their life lessons, right? So we have to be able to bring in our spirit team. We have to be able to create those boundaries and those shields. And I get it. Sometimes we just can't do that. It might be family, it might be your spouse, it might be your child, but you definitely can protect your own energy by calling in your spirit team. You can call in Archangel Michael and allow them to work on creating a shield, a barrier around you, so that you're not physically taking in that energy. So, as a Reiki master, I'm very big on energy and what it does to our physical body. So, someone else can actually be using our energy at the same time we are. Well, that depletes us very quickly. And I want you guys to remember that your energy is most important, because that's how we keep ourselves from getting illness and disease, right? So, for you, Layla, I would definitely call in your spirit team. I would ask them to come in, surround you with white light, create that shield or that bubble around you, disconnect energetically from them, and start that gratitude journal or create your own mantra to remind you every time you get up in the morning that you are worth it, that you are worthy, that you have self love, and put yourself on that higher vibration before you even start the day. And that energy will help you become detached from that person that's using your energy right now and sucking you into that black hole.
And remember, that doesn't mean you stop loving them or you stop being in their lives by any means. Those cords of love cannot be cut, but you can cut those energetic cords of attachment and guilt
Yeah.
and neediness, whatever it is. And then that way you keep yours and theirs
Yep.
theirs. But you can still be empathetic.
Reevaluate your priorities.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a good one. Because it's we all think okay, this is priority number one is right here. And when that's taken out of the equation for whatever reason, then it's like, oh, okay, what am I supposed to do now?
Right.
And then that leaves a sense of fear. Now you're back in the fear state, or loss, because what was once at the top of your list is now unavailable. And so now we have to really dig in and find out, well, what else is important to us?
Mm-hmm.
And what do we do? Is it work? Is it, family? What is it?
Even as a housewife for a period of time that I was doing side jobs, merchandising, secret shopping, I would have my laundry list of things that I needed to prioritize, right? And it didn't always get crossed off. But what I started doing was writing it down on a piece of paper and allowing myself to see what needed to be done right now. And then I would either reorganize it, as a Virgo does, or I would number them. What has to get done today and what can wait until tomorrow? And when I allowed myself to release that energy and I allowed myself to reconnect into what's important right this second, what has to happen right this second, I became unstuck, realizing that if that laundry didn't get done tomorrow or the next day, but I knew the kids had clean clothes, for the week because hello, they have clean clothes. I don't have to rush and do all that laundry and fold it at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. I'm going to push that off until tomorrow because sleep to me is more important because I'm exhausted and I'm run down, right? So we've talked about changing your mindset. When we come back from break, we have a call-in. So we're going to be taking our call-in. Remember, we are a live call-in show, you guys. We have our decks out right now. If you want to talk about the topic right here about getting unstuck, that's 1-800-930-2819.
And if you're shy and you don't want to call us, just drop a question or say card or reading or whatever you want in the comments box there on Facebook, and we'll do that too.
Now, one of my favorite topics that we'll come back on and talk about is archangels and how we can call them in when we start to feel stuck, right? And that's one of the things that we forget to do is that we just need to ask. So Spiritwalker Nicole has a couple of archangels that can help us with this topic. Let you get to know them, let you to feel their vibration and allow you to start working with them now so that you can start moving forward in your everyday life, so that you can start working forward towards the goals that you're setting out to achieve. So please follow us on our YouTube page because we also have guided meditations. And our guided meditation this month is connecting with your guardian angel. So I'm so excited for you guys to hear that. And we are now out on podcast platforms as well. So you guys can find us on most major podcast platforms. I've become English. So yeah, you guys, we'll return with our first caller for the day and continue speaking about how to get unstuck. Welcome back, everybody. I am Psychic Medium Jamie.
Spiritwalker Nicole.
We are discussing today how to get unstuck. And I know a lot of us have been feeling a little stuck lately. And again, stuck doesn't mean that it's negative. It doesn't mean that you're just dragging your foot around behind you. The way I see stuck is sometimes it's like pigpen dust from Charlie Brown. So if you guys are familiar with Charlie Brown, when somebody's energy is not flowing and it's just kind of stagnant, I will see it kind of like pigpen dust around them. That's not a bad thing because if you think about dust, it's lightweight. You blow it, it blows everywhere. So we can take apart that energy, refocus it, clear it out, and be able to create this beautiful glow around that person and shift that energy and be able to continue to tap in with our higher self, our spirit team, source, to make us that number one priority. But a good question is as to how to get to that particular level and how to get to an energy space to where we can start really connecting and shifting that energy is to meditate.
Oh, that definitely. Meditation is I would say the quickest way to just form that connection and to really sort of, I don't know, hone in, find yourself, and then open yourself up to the spiritual world.
Absolutely. And that does help us connect with our spirit teams. It helps us bring clarity. So in a meditation, you can center yourself and you can ask for guidance when you're doing that and be like, okay, so I would like to connect today. I would like some clarity on the specific topic. And what you can do is allow yourself to be vulnerable, surrender yourself over to your spirit team, and then quietly listen in that space of oneness, of stillness. And so I really urge you guys, as part of this practice of kind of moving that energy, becoming unstuck in that day-to-day Groundhog Day routine, to spend some sort of your day doing a mindfulness meditation, a focused meditation, just taking a walk and allowing yourself to be in that space. So before we get to the archangels, I'd love to take a call from our next caller, Zach.
All righty. We have Karen from California.
Karen from California.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Karen. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. Things are good.
I love it. I love it. So what are you looking for here today?
I basically had a question in regards to the stuck and unstuck topic. I feel that at times my partner, my husband, I don't know if I think he might be a little stuck, and I don't know where, is he really stuck or is not? If he is where is this stemming from?
Well, the hardest part for us is that when we are working with our clients and they ask us about someone else who isn't being, given us the okay to read them, we can only give you so much information. But what they're actually showing me is that I feel as though the two of you are kind of on different energetic levels right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, and I do feel that you're vibrating in definitely a higher vibrational state. And it's almost like energetically you're kind of looking, and I don't want to say down on him in a negative way, but to where it's kind of, he's lacking some of that enthusiasm, lacking some of that energy, and some of the motivation that he once had. I do feel that he's a creative person and has kind of lost that as well. Does that resonate with you?
Yes.
And I know this is the hardest time to do this because I do feel that having kind of these restrictions on what we should do and shouldn't do, can do and can't do around the virus and going out. But they are saying, even if you could get him out to start taking some walks or take a drive on the weekend and get out of your element, will help kind of bring him back into that space of oneness. He's feeling a bit kind of disconnected, I believe. And being able for the two of you to connect will help him raise that vibration. And I do feel this long sense of the two of you have been together for quite some time. And he actually relies on your energy in a good way. So we can rely on other people's energy to help us through the day in a positive way. So it's not like he's sucking your energy, like the last person that had asked that question, but it's more about him traveling with you on this journey. And the higher you keep your energy vibration, he will join you. And that, I just heard from an interesting older lady, feels grandmother energy on probably mom's side, who said, he's not stuck and he's not lazy, and that he just needs a little bit of a boost. And it's almost like to give him a big energetic hug. And you can even call in some of his own family members that have passed and say, all right, let's get him back on track. Let's start raising that vibration. Let's start connecting with him more. And you're doing it as a group, which I love. You pulled a card over here, Spiritwalker Nicole.
Yeah, I pulled a card and it's a defend to the end. It's worthwhile card. So it's basically like the things you're sensing and picking up are correct. And it's not a bad thing at all. It's just, I think we could focus more on what you can do. And we're going to talk about sacred spaces, which is going to be like mixing up like the house a little bit and just changing the scenery a little bit, because those are things that we can do. And Jamie's going to talk about that later. But also taking care of yourself. And, if you guys have hobbies that you like to do together, make sure you're spending time doing that, or finding new ones together, changing that perspective, finding new stuff to do, and just invigorating, bringing some life back into that. It's hard to do right now because of the virus, but there's all kinds of things that you can do. So just sort of finding that reconnection in your own relationship, and then that will kind of spread to outlook on life in general.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in today, Karen.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
You too. So talk a bit about archangels.
Yes. Well, there's, you can always call the archangels in, even if you don't know, which one you need. That's okay. You could just call for one and they come. Ones that you can, like, if we're going to talk about this, is you can have Archangel Michael come in. Mm-hmm. He's always good to just bring into the house, clear out any stagnant energy, in addition to the other ways that we do with crystals, sage, and all that stuff. Always call in Michael and ask for help with that. Archangel Uriel is really good and underutilized. He is for wisdom and guidance. So if you're looking for that direction, like which way should I go on this? I'm not sure. Call Uriel in. If it's spiritual things you're seeking, he can put spiritual things in your path, such as mentors, teachers, books, whatever it is that resonates with you, that you're interested in. He'll help you seek that out. And then Archangel Gabriel, he's so good with communication. And sometimes it's a matter of being able to communicate what it is you need, what it is you want, or even understanding that. So he's good to come in and just help you figure it out. So those are the ones that I use for this type of situation.
I need a lot of figuring out. So for me to call in an archangel that I'm not familiar with, is it as easy as me going, Archangel Uriel? Ta-da! How do they go about that?
Basically. I mean, all you have to do, you don't need to know their names. You could just say, archangels help me, and then they know. They just need that invitation. They can't come in unless you invite them. And when you do invite them, you have what you need, and you don't have to say it out loud. It can be all done in your head. So many people are like, if I say it out loud and my husband hears me, I am going straight to the mental hospital. That's fine. You don't have to do it. You can do it in your head. And as soon as you give them that permission, then they come in. And I like to say, you don't have to be specific on what kind of help. They already know. They just need the invitation. But, call them in and then get out of the way and watch it happen, because it will. Because when you call them in, they absolutely come.
And it works. That connection starts to build stronger within you and the spirit world. And you're doing it out of the highest and best for yourself and out of love and light. So therefore, you're not allowing anything else of a lower vibration in your space. Before we go to break, we could do a quick general card reading for Mackenzie.
Yes.
We got a Virgo here, so let's do that. And you know what was so funny, Mackenzie, is I just got this new deck, Divine Dog. And I don't know if you have cards like this, but let me tell you, I absolutely love, love, love this deck. Being an animal person myself, I love working with them. And sometimes they will actually come in, which is fantastic. So with you actually have quite a few spirit guides that are in the canine family as well. Actually, just the animal kingdom. You're definitely surrounded. And I'm just given, okay. Cards are falling out of the deck, folks. Cards are falling out of the deck. We all know what that means. When the cards are falling out of the deck, that means that your spirit team, and you have two and I have two. That's very interesting. Okay, I'm just going to go with it then. All right, so the first card we have is fear. Face the fear, Mackenzie. Look at that little chihuahua. And as we know with chihuahuas, they are dogs that do kind of quiver and they go inward. And it's allowing yourself to go inward and to face that fear, which is what we talked about, is the fear state of becoming unstuck, right? Spiritwalker Nicole is allowing ourselves to move forward, to move past that. But you've got to go inward. And since she got the fear card, I'm interested to see how you're going to move that energy out, because they want you to do it in a different way, which is, I think, connecting more with the animals and allowing yourself to, it's going to sound kind of crazy, but really connect with them and feel the energy of them, because it's unconditional love. And actually, that's what they're bringing in. Sometimes they bring it in a roundabout way, but it's connecting with the unconditional love that surrounds you. And so if you can't get it from, the human world around you all the time, then definitely go with the animal kingdom and allow yourself to spend some time. So if you don't have animals, go to someone that does have an animal. Unless you're allergic, then please don't do that. But allow yourself to connect. Now, you guys, the funny thing is that it can be any type of animal. If you have a fish bowl and you have a beta fish, you can connect with that fish. It's energy exchange. When we have cats and dogs come around us and allow, they're rubbing on our legs and they're trying to get our attention, or when they just sit next to you when they know you're having a bad day, that's that unconditional love. And that moves us into the patience any day now. So the things that you are looking to achieve right now are starting to unfold. It's just taking some time because it's your path and how it moves forward. So release the rest of the fear, because I do feel that that's a barrier in there to help you become unstuck and to be able to move forward into what you are trying to manifest and create, and realize that your time is almost there. It's almost there for you to achieve, for you to be able to reach those rings and grab. And I actually just had a hummingbird come right up to the window. So I want you to Google hummingbirds as we're talking about animals around you. And I want you to really start moving your energy into that vibration, because that is very significant in many different cultures as well. What do you have, Spiritwalker Nicole?
I got the opportunity and the receptivity card, which is perfect. So make sure that you're looking out for those. Be receptive to those opportunities, even if it seems kind of weird. Explore them. It's not like there's a whole lot else going on. So explore them. Shift your mindset to, even if it seems kind of weird at first, look for the opportunities in everything, job offers, or even just spiritual things. If a book kind of catches your interest and you're like, I don't know, take a minute, just give it a second, look, because it's just, life is full of these opportunities that we have. And it's a matter of us to be receptive or not really notice them. And when you do that, you open a lot more doors for yourself than maybe you thought were possible.
Absolutely. And it's funny because Mackenzie actually validated these cards. And she said, fear has definitely been holding me back. I love animals. And a hummingbird just came to her window 20 minutes ago. So that's that validation. That's that connection for you. When we come back, we are going to go into segment 3 today, folks, which is our sacred spaces and connecting with the energy within our space itself. So once a month, we're going to be doing a sacred space episode. We are going to have our fabulous intern, LaShawn, with us during these sessions. And it's a client that reached out to me a little bit ago. And I worked with her months ago, actually, and she wanted to have a sacred space within her home, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, modest tract home, to be able to write a book. And so I went over and we went through a reading of the space, a reading of her, connecting with her spirit guides, connecting with loved ones, on how to make even a small corner of her home her own sanctuary. And sure enough, ladies and gentlemen, she wrote that book in less than 5 months. She wrote that book when the pandemic started, and having 2 children, a kindergartner and a 5th grader at home, along with a husband who worked alongside of her with his own business. And so she's called us back, which we just did, and that was to create the garage classroom, right? Because now her kids will be home again this year, and having them have their own space that goes with each child's personality and their energy level. And we worked with their guides, and it was just a beautiful experience all in all. So we will be right back. Follow us at Shades of Spirit LLC on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, I can't wait to get to the next topic. All right, we'll see you guys in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. Psychic medium Jamie.
And Spiritwalker Nicole.
Who has lost focus once again. We need to get you unstuck. I'm telling you right now.
Unstuck.
Oh my goodness. I think maybe we should start with your surroundings, shall we?
Okay.
So sacred spaces, that is what we are going to be doing once a month. But any and all of us can do this at any given time, right? So it's about creating somewhere within your space, whether it be your home, office, or both. It could be the front yard, backyard. It could be inside your home. It could be right around your bathtub if you have one of those nice bathtubs that draws you in and allows your energy to start elevating. It's about embracing some change. So if you're living in a space to where you haven't made changes in it in years, right? It can be as simple as going to Home Depot and buying a can of paint, right? And painting one wall, an accent wall, a color that you're drawn to. Colors are huge in raising our vibration. It can be something as simple as cleaning the clutter. That's a big one. And what's interesting is that I had a reading done and she asked what was wrong with my garage. And it was like a running joke because we've been actually cleaning the clutter and filtering stuff out and donating stuff. And it's still sitting there to be, finished. but clearing that energy out, because energy will stick in those type of spots and those little nooks and crannies and those corners. And so clearing out clutter is a great way to do that. Also, if you can't walk into like your closet in the morning, right? If it's just packed full of clothes, not saying anything about here, it might be time to start sorting stuff out, finding that donation pile, so that when you go in there, you're not throwing everything on the floor because you can't find the right shirt because you can hardly see in the sea of clothing and the 85 pairs of shoes when you only wear 4. But there are other people out there who could use them. And so donating feels very good as well and helps us raise our energy because we know that we're able to help someone else. It might be that nice pantsuit. You'll see a lot of girls donate prom dresses, those type of things. It raises our vibration, it clears the clutter, and it changes our space. Also mix it up.
Yeah, just being able to look at, change those pictures on the wall, bring in some candles in, whatever it is, just clear that space and just make it more yours. And then so you just don't have to look at the same stuff every day.
Yep.
So it's just, and it's the small ways, small changes actually make a huge difference.
I know a lot of you have roommates, right? And you share an apartment or a home with them. And so it's not easy for you to be able to just set up shop wherever you want. Do it in your bedroom. Set up that little corner. What calls to you? What do you like? Like she said, that might be a candle that's lavender smelling, right? It could be, you find some crystals that you like. It could be books that you're drawn to that inspire you, right? You just anything and everything. One pillow on your bed and a particular color that you find elevating. That is what we're talking about, is finding a little bit of that sacred space and bringing it to you wherever you are. I've done restaurants, office spaces. A lot of times we work in areas and environments that have a lot of EMF, right? Coming off of the computers and the phones. And I worked in an office where I actually had an entire electrical panel in the office. So I used all sorts of crystals and Himalayan salt lamps, and I brought beautiful pictures in to change that energy and that vibration. And it actually made me more focused, and it made me more productive because I was now creatively using the energy of the space. So stay tuned next week because we will have Jody on for our show. And that is who we did the office, the little desk space for her to finish that book. And she just let us know that her transformation of her garage as a classroom is about done. So we'll have before and after pictures playing. And next month, I want you to join us for our 30 days to your sacred connection. And we'll have more on that next week as well. We want to thank you guys for joining us today. I feel a little unstuck. What about you?
Absolutely.
Yep. So now I need to surrender and be vulnerable, and I'll just kick off the entire day. Thank you for those of you that called in. Again, follow us on our website, www.shadesofspirit.com, and we will see you next week. Thank you.